Hey, good people. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Those of you who are new to Just Say No to Narcs, welcome to our loving community. Those of you who continue to press play, thank you for your support. And as always, I hope that I share something that is helpful for each and every one of you. I thank you for joining me on my journey of healing, and I hope that I am contributing something to your journey as well. I want to talk today about closure. Why is closure so important? Why do narcissists not want to give closure to you? Many of us find ourselves stuck, unable to move on because we don't understand why we can't just have a conversation with this person. Some of you were in relationships with narcissistic people for years, and you're just like, they're never going to talk to you. They're never going to see you as human. They're never going to take responsibility for their behavior. None of that. And this hurts because you put so much into this relationship, and you've got this person who is absolutely unwilling to show you just the smallest amount of human decency and give you closure. Just say something. They won't do it. And they won't do it because this is their last little bit of control. In their delusional minds, they think that withholding closure from you keeps control over you, that you will never move on in life fully because they have not disconnected the right way from your life. And so although you move on, you're healthy, happy, and whole, in their sick minds, they think that somewhere you're still thinking about them, and that they can use the fact that they withheld closure to come back into your life anytime they want to. Now, most of us have moved on, and that is absolutely not an option. But to the delusional narc, it is. And so that withholding closure is just control, just to manipulate you and hope that you're just as miserable as they are. But I'm so glad you're not. And I'm so glad that you're coming to a place to where you understand that closure is something that you have to seek out on your own. You give yourself closure. And the way I received closure was from God, from submitting my will and my life and my pain, my wounds to God. And He really helped to restore what the enemy had taken from me. We need to get to a place where we look at this truly as an enemy who came into your life to try and thwart your destiny. They tried to deter you from walking in the direction of your purpose so that you would join them in the grave as someone who never fulfilled anything but tried to live in a false world in order to be something that you're not, that you weren't called to be, and submit all of who you are to them. They wanted to be your God, and they wanted you to worship them. And this is why they withhold closure. They want you to ruminate over them. They want you to be distraught, but you're not going to be, because God has a plan. He knows the plans that He has for you, plans to give you a hope and a future. And the narcissist wants to take that future away from you through withholding closure. I remember my opportunity to talk to the ex. He would never answer the phone or talk to me or respond because he didn't want to face the truth. And you guys, I'm just going to tell you, I was not doing the no contact thing. And so I was like, homeboy is going to talk. He's going to tell me why he's lying and why he did the things that he did. I had moved past the fear part. I'm not afraid. I don't care. Get in trouble, whatever. I don't care, because I'm going to hold him accountable. My efforts were really futile, you guys. Excuse me, getting tongue tied here, because he wasn't worth it. In the end, if I could go back, I would just keep moving on with my life and just overlook him, based on what I know now. But I didn't do that at first, and I wanted closure. I spent so many nights crying, so many nights distraught. Like, how could someone that I love do these things to me? He had been talking bad behind my back since we were together. He'd been trying to sabotage who I am and smear my name. And then he got someone else in on it who, he ended up in a relationship with, and that person was in on the smear campaign that I didn't even know. You thought about all of these things and that he had said, and that people had come back and said that he had told them about you. And you're like, well, that was him. That wasn't me. And, it's overwhelming in the beginning for most of us because we loved so hard and so much. It's devastating to know that you put all of your eggs in one basket and that person just crumbled those eggs, stepped on them, cracked those eggs is what I meant. So me facing that reality and all the things that have been done to me in such a little time with such a malignant person, I wanted to fight, y'all. Really, I wanted to fight. I was like, come out, coward. Why don't you face me, you coward? And he would never do that. They're never going to face you, and they're never going to give you closure. But one day he did answer the phone. And when he answered the phone, I knew, it passed before my mind and my eyes at that moment, there was someone sitting there for him to get me to react so he could put on a show. And I played into the hands to confirm whatever smear he had set up against me. But I remembered at that moment, his ex-wife was the same way. They like to do the speakerphone thing. And so to make you feel like you can trust them, but you can't. And so they do the speakerphone thing for the new supply to make them feel like, see, something's wrong with them after they have, done some horrible things to you and told that person you've done those things to them. They're going to keep with the narrative while you're on the phone, begging for closure, cussing them out, doing whatever you need to do to try to get their attention. And it's not going to happen. They're not moved by it at all. And so I remember asking, several questions about why he did this and why he did that. And he was just denying everything. He was lying, gaslighting me. And I was just, you guys, I almost couldn't breathe. I was begging for closure. And he even asked me, like the demon that he is, what is it you want from me? Closure? And I was like, yes, I'm looking for closure. And he was like, well, if I give you closure, will you leave me alone? Because whatever narrative he had painted for this other person, I guess it had something to do with that I had been harassing him. And so I was like, yes, but you need to answer those questions for me to get that closure. And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And so he started deflecting and denying everything. And that's what it's going to turn out. And it makes you more angry. And then you start reacting. And then they're like, look, see, I told you this person is crazy. And they're like this and they're like that. When they are indeed the ones who are demonic. They have a spiritual stronghold on you. And they know it, and they control you through withholding the closure. And so it's important for you to turn to God for that closure. Allow God to come in and create in you a cleaner heart. Renew the right spirit within you, because the narcissist that you were with was, be it family members or a romantic relationship, their goal was to deposit an evil seed in you, to deposit resentment in you, to deposit discouragement in you. And so all of these things come up. And when they withhold closure, then you start reacting to those emotions. And it causes many of you to be in a very defeated state of mind. But you are dealing with someone who fights from a position of defeat, but you don't know that. I'm going to talk about that in my next video. The narcissist fighting from the position of defeat. You guys, find the closure you need. Find it in God. I'm telling you, it is a process to go through. God takes you through the fire so that he can mend those broken pieces. And as Danny says all the time, hello, Danny, that God builds a masterpiece with those broken pieces. I just love that. I can't say it enough. And he does. I am here, a living testimony. When I tell you guys that I've done some things, said some things that I'm not proud of because of my reacting to the wounds and the trauma, I've done some things. But I am so proud of who I have become in Christ Jesus. I don't need the closure anymore. This person doesn't have any control over my life whatsoever. Even when he still reaches out and tries to hoover, I don't even feel anything about it other than, I'm really sad for you. This is pathetic because you can't be honest. And I'm going to be honest about all of my downfalls and the things that I've done. And I feel so free in that. There's a peace in that. So embrace that peace that God has brought into your life. And be peaceful with being who you are. I'm at the end of the day, if we both die today, I was honest. I gave God my very best. I gave that relationship my very best. And in that, I found my closure. I want you to find it too. It's important for you. And God will give it to you. God will restore what the enemy tried to steal from you. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. You are above and not beneath. He has placed the serpent under your feet. So please, you guys, take good care of yourselves. Know that you have the power and the control over your life. They don't have any control. None whatsoever. And in God, you realize that. I hope this message was helpful for each and every one of you. I hope that you have a very blessed weekend. Thank you so much again for sharing your time with me. And I will be back with another video. Let's continue to fight the good fight of faith. We're going to fight in truth. We're not going to fight dirty. We're going to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And with the truth comes the light. And with the light comes exposure to narcissistic abuse and brings awareness to those who were asleep, but now they can awaken. Share content. Share, so that others might awaken. God bless you. Take good care of yourselves.